Hey girl, I'm so excited to share with you that the latest version of my signature 12-week program, Thrive, is out. You can grab it at bit.ly/thrive and train for life. As busy midlife moms, the reason you aren't seeing or feeling results is because you're not following a program that was made with you in mind. Thrive is a habit-based fitness program custom made for midlife moms. Now, the secret sauce is in the progressive overload, metabolic conditioning, and phasing every 4 weeks paired with habit coaching to ensure you stick with it. This is training for life. Now, the workouts in Thrive are results driven and time efficient. You can do them at home or the gym. All levels are welcome as I always provide modifications, and I even include some bonus habit hacking resources and accountability from me, like lifetime access. This includes updates every quarter to Thrive, my habit course that has helped hundreds of women make their habits stick, and a private podcast feed that I update every quarter as well, with habit hacks to address the challenges that come up in that season of life for us as midlife moms. Plus, you get exclusive texting to me for added accountability. So purchase Thrive now. I've made it super affordable and accessible inside of my app without a membership, and you grab lifetime access to all updates. Again, you can grab it at bit.ly/thrive and train for life. I can't wait to hear about the transformation that is finally going to happen for you. Okay, girl, let's get into the show. Hey girl, if you're done with dieting and the constant starting and stopping of your healthy habits because, well, life, and you'd rather find a way to train for life instead, then you're in the right place. Hey, I'm Emily, habit and fitness coach and midlife boy mom. I've gone from frustrated dieter to now consistently and confidently living a healthy lifestyle, following the habit hacking systems that I'm now going to teach you. Think of this as atomic habits for women. I'm now helping other midlife moms like you feel and look good in their favorite leggings through all seasons of life, following my habit-based fitness programming. No more dieting, my friend, just training for life. So are you ready to habit hack your health? Then let's do this. You're listening to episode 294 of Habit Hack Your Health. Hey girl, welcome back to the show. Food is fuel and food is energy, right? But also food can sometimes be emotional, and food can also be like an afterthought for us sometimes. Our lives are so busy and we've been exposed to so much toxic diet culture over the years, and creating meals and even sitting down to eat can feel sometimes overwhelming, or like I said, an actual afterthought, right? However, no matter how many clients I have coached and worked with throughout the years, and even my own personal health journey, it really all does start with our nutrition and our food. And like I mentioned, sometimes we have to unravel that diet culture mentality. I do this with my girls on my private podcast, Atomic Habits for Women. So go download it now. It's at bit.ly/atomic habits for women. We talk about why our brains are wired a little bit differently, all the tabs we have open in our heads when it comes to starting healthy habits and the overwhelm we face, but also how to unravel that diet culture mentality that's been unfortunately ingrained in us for so long, in order to stop dieting and start training for life instead. So go listen to that. I actually unveil my habit hacking strategy on there for you that I only talk about on that private podcast. But today, we're going to be talking more about how you can have a holistic approach to nutrition with our friend Cara Clark. Now, we're not going to go super deep into like macro counting and always leading with protein and so forth, and even how to meal prep, but more so we're going to be talking about habits from a holistic approach to make nutrition work for your body, for you to actually rest and digest your food. Okay. Now, those other topics are super important. We definitely will be talking about those on future episodes. But today we're just really talking about a holistic approach to nutrition. Now, let me talk to you a little bit about our guest, Cara Clark. You guys are going to love her. She's an integrative nutritionist and wellness educator certified in sports and clinical nutrition, blood chemistry, and integrative heart health. She's super smart, you guys. Cara has been able to help thousands of clients from group challenge participants to celebrities to Olympic athletes, NBA and MLB draft prospects, helping them all feel better in their bodies by moving away from dieting and instead understanding the connection between what people eat and how they feel. She's also the primary nutritionist for the fitness app and online community Fit 52 with Carrie Underwood. And her new book, The Feel Good Way, is available on May 13th. I just pre ordered it. I can't wait to read this recipe. It's more than just recipes, which you'll hear a little bit more from Cara in this episode. She's a busy mom to 4 girls and wife to her husband of 15 years. And as she approaches her 40s and her girls are growing into young women, her commitment to cultivating the wisdom and practices that will lift her own health and well being through the changing phases of life have only grown stronger. And that commitment extends to helping people do the same so they can live the life they were called to live. She has such a heart for this, and I love this conversation so much. Sometimes I think we forget about that God has given us everything we need for survival, right? When it comes to food, but we've just really overcomplicated it over the years due to our crazy lifestyles and that diet culture mentality. So today we're going to chat more with Cara about how to create some more holistic habits around nutrition that will support your body, your mind, your spirit, and again, all without dieting. Like I said, Cara gives such a great perspective and has such a big heart on this, and I really hope you take to heart what Cara shares with you today in this episode. Now, as always, make sure to stick around to the end. I'll share my 3 biggest takeaways from this conversation. Okie dokie, let's go chat with Cara Clark. Okay, ladies, welcome back to Habit Hack Your Health. I am so excited for this conversation. Cara Clark is here to chat with us. Cara, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Of course. Hey, everybody. Nice to meet you.
I am so excited to dig into all things mind, body, spirit, a holistic approach to your health. But the first question I ask every guest, Cara, is what is your favorite habit hack just saving your life right now?
For the last 10 years, my favorite habit hack is more of a nervous system thing.
Mhm.
So each morning, I try to start my mornings an hour before everybody else, but I start them in listening prayer. So I consecrate my day and then I surrender and I receive rather than trying to be so productive and so planning and kind of like anti-woman, if you will.
Yeah.
I try to let my day flow in the grace of God rather than being in control. So that's kind of my favorite habit that I share about in my book, which we'll talk about later.
You said it's a listening prayer, is what you call it?
Listening prayer. Yeah, meaning I use very few words and I try to just let God speak to me.
I love that. And like you said, it's very hard to do because it's hard to turn our brains off for sure.
Totally. It's easy to put a to-do list together. It's easy to cross things off the list. It's easy to go, but can we hit pause?
That's so much more peaceful. I love that. I love the way you said that too. Well, let's get to know you a little bit better. What is your story that has really led to what you do today, who you help, who you are, all the things?
Yeah. Well, I mean, at my age, so I turned 40 in June, last June. And I feel like I have like 4 stories now, like how did it start is different than how did it transform. And then like some of the shifts I made in my own business and my offerings. So I'll start with how it started and I'll try to keep it all short and sweet, but it is all really relevant, as you know. Like I didn't get here by chance. I wanted to have 6 kids. I have 4. This is great. My business definitely counts as 2.
Yeah.
So I landed where I needed to.
There you
But so at 22, I graduated from college like most people. But I went through my first identity crisis. So I was a college athlete my whole life, and I did not know who I was. I didn't recognize myself. I developed some really bad habits with food, meaning I was super controlled,
Mm.
leading into undiagnosed. I never went to the doctor for it, but eating disorder. So that kind of what set the stage of like, I want to learn how to properly fuel my body. When I was a college athlete, nobody could tell me, nobody described it to me the way I wanted to hear it. So I kind of went on a journey to discover. And through that journey, I got some credentials in nutrition. I started a master's of science of nutrition program, and I really wanted to understand how to take the idea of performing as an athlete into everyday life. And so, athletes and you high level, I don't want to say high level, but performers, achievers, Enneagram threes, Enneagram eights, if you will, um, how do they utilize their energy and sustain, right? So, anyways, that's where it started. And I decided, what better place? And all of this was guided by God. I quit my work and started my own business like the week after I got married. I thought you were allowed to do stuff like that
Why
without
not?
having a conversation. So, Cara Clark Nutrition was born in 2009. I also got pregnant and married in 2009. So, always a lot happening at once for me. That will paint the picture into what led into transformation story. But anyway, I started working with sororities because I knew that they were having some of the same issues I was. I read that 3 out of 5 sorority girls are facing eating disorder crisis. So I helped them learn how to grocery shop, how to activate their bodies, how to work with the bodies that they have rather than beat the bodies they have to the ground to look a certain way. So how do you feel good? How do you get that sense of purpose through how you feel? So I did some training, some fitness with them, and then I really got into nutrition. Well, I was in nutrition the whole time, but I just focused on nutrition after I had my second child, which was back to back, of course. I had 3 kids by the time I was 28. Let's just I was all caution to the wind. All I ever knew is I wanted to be a mom. So that was the one thing I was like, I am not planning. It is happening. So I
Yeah.
had 4 kids by the time I was 31. And
Nice.
that's kind of how that went. So 4 kids, a business that I felt like was a hobby.
Mm-hmm.
Up until that point, it was just a hobby. In my mind, it was a hobby. Like I'm a full-time mom, it's a hobby. So around 33, I was done nursing and pregnant for 7.5 years. My body plummeted. I couldn't put on weight. I couldn't sleep. I like was always hyper. I had this huge business. I had seasonal challenges at this point. I had thousands of clients. I don't know why these people trusted me so much when I was a young mom with 4 kids. So I hired a CFO to lay out the business, and all these people that worked for me were coming from my challenges saying, "Hey, you need help with this. Let me help you." And I was like, "Yeah, help me. Tell me how much to pay you." No like strategy, no plan, no nothing until gosh, what year was that? Probably like 2016, 17. So we went on like 8 years with this hobby that was very successful.
Yeah.
So 2017, around that time, is when it became like a formal business and people had formal roles. But my health was still plummeting. I literally sat in these meetings and I cried every meeting the whole time. This guy was like, "What did I sign up for?" This woman's a loon. Um, And I realized I needed help. So I seeked out functional medicine, Chinese medicine, all the alternative allopathic options because I knew that there were some stressors internal and I knew there was obviously stressors external. So I did acupuncture. I did all the things I knew to do at that time. My skin was flared up. I had insomnia. I was getting sick all the time. But I was pushing through and I was still waking up at 4 o'clock every day so I could get all my things done, so I could be the full-time stay-at-home mom, so I didn't have to hire childcare, right? That doesn't work, friends. You have to delegate. So that was the major transformation. That's when I was able to, like I said, make my business legit, real, flow, um, even minimize my own role in my own business so that I didn't have to surrender the mom part of it. Um, but when I went to the doctor, it turned out I had Epstein-Barr flare-up, which meant that I was walking around with mono for like 6 months
Mm.
and continuing to push through. Um, so in order to fix my insomnia, I had to take a step back, not from the work I never did, but to really heal my body. So that was kind of like the big wake up call. Like your body's falling apart. Like,
Yeah.
what's next? What's next when your
Yeah.
body's, sinking that deep? It's bad. What's next? And I'm
Yeah.
glad I never had to face that. So I turned my program into a subscription program so people could sign up for the challenges for the year rather than every few months. It was like up, down, up, down, up,
Yeah.
down.
Mhm.
No accountant wanted to deal with that. So we turned it into a subscription. And then a few years later, I just was not like totally fulfilled. I wanted to do more wellness education. And as much as I love the challenges, foundation of health is eating, learning how to eat. I still do that. I still teach that from the ground up. But my membership was like the birth of the new me. So
Mm.
each month, each quarter, we have different themes. And the themes are in depth for the female body at every stage of life. And we go based on the season of the year and what the body is able to do during that season and what
Mm.
it's most capable of.
Yeah.
So it's supporting people on the highest level with the latest research, with, client case studies. It's what I love. I love to educate people on their own bodies because we unfortunately did not receive that kind of education in school. So long story long, I guess. But that's where we are now. My membership is the most meaningful part of my business. The
Mm.
seasonal challenges are a great way to try it.
Yeah. I love that you mentioned it was seasonal because I think sometimes, a lot of times, when women are on a healthy habit journey, they just think, okay, here I am. And then boom, like summer hits and your kids are home and things change, or,
Mhm.
you find yourself in your early 40s and maybe you're at a higher level in your job and your kids are teenagers and that's a different emotional stress. And we're just go, 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 go. And we're not listening to our bodies and making
Mhm.
adjustments each season and where you're at, physically in your body for each season too. That's
Exactly.
health. Yeah, that's really
Well,
great.
and it's ironic when, closer to 40, when a lot of people do experience higher levels in their career and higher success and more busyness with the kids' stages of life, our
Yeah.
bodies are also becoming less resilient to stress just
Yeah.
because of where our hormones are being made. So
Mhm.
our hormones start to switch off from the ovaries to adipose tissue and adrenals, and we just get wiped out. And like you're saying, if you're not listening to your body, then one day you wake up and you're like, I don't recognize myself anymore. Or what happens to people like 42, 43, 44 is what I was doing is not working and
Yeah.
it's scary.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, luckily there's amazing people like you to help all of us ladies out for sure. Because yes, I think you're speaking everyone's language here, and that we're waking up, in our bodies sometimes and be like, what is going on? And there's
Yeah,
not like a one size fits all approach, but I love that your approach, Kara, is really holistic, like mind, body, spirit aligned. And I was wondering if you could just share a little bit more about that because I think sometimes we just get caught up in the data and what should I be doing as far as my workouts
absolutely.
and nutrition, but it's more than that.
Yeah, I actually just took a picture of part of my book because I think and I can't find the spot, but it really resonates with people that like we aren't just a measurement, and the best way we can assess ourselves is by how we feel. So when I get an email, especially from a member that's like blah 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 blah, and I'm not losing any weight, so my first question is, how are you feeling? And then they say, well, I'm bloated, I'm tired, then they tell me, they break down how they're feeling, and then we can connect the dots. Same with feeling good. So I have so many people that have lost 50 pounds or 100 pounds and never even told me. But they
Mm.
tell me that their blood markers are all good. They feel the best they've ever felt. They feel like they got all the joints replaced in their body. They feel tenured. They tell me how they feel. So what happens with, taking calculations of our body is we become obsessed with a number. We forget how we feel, And again, one day you wake up and this number system isn't working anymore. And now you don't even trust yourself. So when you lose trust in yourself, you lose safety. And when a female body loses safety, that's when things break down, you know? So it really does start with a foundation of food because we have to get ourselves physically feeling better. When we start to feel well, it opens up these avenues of the holistic approach, right?
Yes.
Of having energy to meditate, which takes energy. You would think of all the things in the world that would be the easiest, it would be to just sit. It's the hardest when you don't feel good. So, yeah, it helps you to be able to focus on that. It helps you to kind of restore your faith in yourself, restore your faith in God, and opens that time to be able to work towards that. Because what happens when we don't feel good is we lose out on hours of the day not feeling good, as you
Yeah.
know. You do a great workout and then you get more energy from it. You eat a great meal, you get more energy from it. Well, you have more hours in your day that can be efficient or flow,
Mm,
depending on, what you need that day.
yeah.
Um, and so that's how I use the mind, body, spirit approach. I do a lot of body work in the sense of like body scans and like meditative body scans with my community so that they can start to see where the breakdown in their body is as we move that way. I do listening prayer with my community. I teach them how to rependulate their nervous system. So when, we're such fight or flight, such overdrive, such overconsumption. Like we were not meant to be entertained all day long, you know? We were not meant to be on technology and devices all day long.
Yeah,
And I find myself doing the same thing. I'm not just saying like this is for
totally.
other people. Um, and so our systems are staying in this fight or flight. And so if we can't learn to rependulate, we can't even digest the food we're eating. And so I teach
Mhm.
people like, here's how we reset the vagus nerve and the parasympathetic nervous system before you eat. For some people, this means doing a full-on 5-minute dance in their living room and shaking it all out,
Break
or
it
going
out.
on a rebounder and shaking it
Yeah.
out. Most people can do a little bit of breath work and just
Mhm.
reset the system, or a little bit of humming. But I teach them like we are not what we eat, we are what we digest and absorb.
Yeah.
And so for some people, that's like, it takes a lot of measures. You have to have eating hygiene, you have to sit right, you have to breathe right, you have to smell the food. Other people, you can't drink water with your meals. Like other people are a little bit, they don't have the same digestive issues. So that approach is kind of bio-individualized. Those are the things I
Mhm.
teach in my membership.
Yeah. It's kind of funny how like it's almost like a mental block lifts when you find yourself like being able to sit and relax and enjoy a meal and your nutrition is fueling you versus
Mhm.
crashing you. Or like you said, a great workout gives you more energy and how that can spill over to so many other areas of your life. You are more open to listening, hearing from God. You can, think, okay, what can I do to like, oh, I'm feeling tension in my shoulders right now. I need to relax. I'm clenching my jaw. I'm clenching everything and just
Yeah.
relaxing.
Everything's
And
clenched.
everything's clenched. Like we're overwhelmed and overstimulated, especially as busy working moms. So I'm really glad that you're taking this holistic approach and, slowing down and eating and digesting your food versus, rushing out the house with a protein
Yeah.
bar in the morning. Like
Which I have to, it's balance. You have to
it's
do that
balance. Yeah.
too.
Yeah. And there's a time and place, and it's not having to do it all, but it sounds like these are very simple where it could really have a
Mhm.
big impact if they made it a habit and did it every day as well.
Exactly. 2 minutes before your meal to allow the body to smell the food,
Mm,
to relax the nervous system, and to be able to open the body up for proper digestion. Let the body feel safe. Otherwise, food is another stressor. And I tell people this like, it's not just about eating health. A lot of people are like, I eat healthy. Okay, well, first question, do you combine your macros every meal?
mm,
Second question, are you relaxed when you're eating? Third question, are you feeling digestive disturbances from healthy food? Because if so, like we still need to reset more in depth, you know?
gosh, that's such a good tip. I love that, Kara. Well, you have 4 kids. How old are your kids?
All girls, 15, 13, 12, and 9.5.
Oh my goodness, you're in the thick of it. I have 2 boys. I have a 17 and a 13-year-old.
Okay. So we're
Um,
close to, well,
we're
you have a
close. We're
driver. That
close.
makes a big
Yeah.
difference, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm sure you've been able to really lead by example for your kids, especially having daughters, like just via your own healthy habits. I remember when my boys were really little, I had to get up early before I went to my nonprofit job I used to work at, and I would work out in my living room. And like, it's so cute. Like, Time Hop will come up and show little
Yeah.
pictures or videos I was taking, and they were in the background watching me. And it's really cool now to see them empowered by movement and the way they fuel their bodies as well. And how have your girls reacted to watching your own journey as well?
Yeah. I love that question. And I love just reflecting back on what you're saying, trying to do a plank with little kids in the room and they would all climb on top.
The
That would
ultimate
be-
plank.
Yes, the ultimate plank is the mom plank with kids on your back. Um, yeah, it's actually really cool to see how they understand it because each of them pick up on different aspects of
Yeah.
it.
Mhm.
Um, last week I was invited to teach in my neighborhood it's an all pro dads group and they bring in speakers every month and they kind of pray together and just, commune. And I was invited to speak and the kids were so into it. And my 9-year-old was the only one there because it was for elementary age and she could have taught the class. Like she could have taught what protein, carbs, and fat were. And we were really focusing on eating 5 pillars a day and eating your macros. And, they get a snack break at school. And she was describing to them like what her snacks look like every day and why. And she's like, Mom does give me a lot of popcorn. Why, Mom, why is that? And I was like, because popcorn actually has 7 grams of protein, and you can like the lesser evil or homemade. I use coconut oil or butter, and so you
Mhm.
have protein, fat, and carbs
Yeah.
all in one little baggie, which is hard to do for a school snack.
Yeah.
So, and she was realizing that and wanted to explain to them and told them that if she brings another snack, that's why she has a cheese, in case they were wondering. Um, and then my oldest is more into like the red light therapy. And I was like looking at her text the other day and she sent her friend the link for castor oil wraps. And she was explaining to her friends that like period cramps are not normal or hereditary, that they're a sign of inflammation. And she was like, but can you give me more details on that, Mom? Because I kind of like lost them at that. They don't believe me that that's not hereditary. So she loves to share, that wisdom. My 13-year-old will try to get away with as much as she can, but I know deep down she realizes it. And if she feels slightly off, she's like, I'm back on track.
Yeah.
And what should I take? Meaning like which supplement protocols.
Mhm.
And my 12-year-old is the one who I assume is going to take over my business because she's very like spiritually connected. Like she can tell what people are struggling with before they can tell what they're struggling
Oh,
with, that type of
yeah.
spiritual connection. So they all live it. They all
Yeah.
live it in their own ways. They try to never eat carbs by themselves. They're athletes, so they know how to fuel. They know when they need electrolytes. Sometimes they add straight sea salt to their tongues when they know that, like, if they're hungry or they have a headache and they can't eat soon enough, they will do the salt hack. Like they know all these. They know they need a detox bath when their bodies are weak. They know they need the PEMF mat when their bodies are high strung. That kind of, they know. I don't even know what they don't know. I feel like, so yes, it's worn off on them. The thing we have to focus on in our house is rest. We
Yeah.
don't have to push them to work harder.
Mhm.
We
Mhm.
have to force them to not go to bed at night because that part's good, but like take a day off. Like
Yeah.
stop
Yeah.
going so hard.
Yeah. It's cool when they kind of figure that out. My oldest son is go, 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 go. Never wants to say no to anything. He plays guitar on the worship team for the students at our church,
That's
and
cool.
he'll play every weekend, but it's an all day thing, like all day. And finally, we're like, you should probably take one weekend off a month. And like his director told him that too. And he's like, it's been really nice just to have a weekend off where I can just sit
Yeah.
and enjoy instead of performing. But he had to figure that out himself too,
Yeah.
to figure
Yeah.
that out. But good job, Mama. I mean, it's funny how they have their own
Yeah.
personalities and they kind of lean into different biohacking or listening to their body or being
Yeah.
in tune with others. That's really, really cool.
Yeah. The older they get, the more I have to remind them that food's still the foundation. Like
Yeah.
you can throw in all these lights and all these,
Oh, yeah.
extras, but if you're not taking care of your body with food and digesting it, well, then those are only going to go so far.
Yeah, gosh, it all does start with food. That's so funny. I have one of those acupuncture mats with like the little spiky things on it. I forget exactly what it's called. I
Well,
might,
I know what you're talking about. I can't think of what it's called either.
yeah.
Prono or pranamat.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And my
Uh-huh.
13-year-old came in our bedroom the other night and I was like, "What's wrong with your back?" He was like, "I was laying on the mat. I was feeling like really tense because he's running track and cross country." He goes, "It actually
Uh-huh.
really helped me like calm down and relax." He goes, "My back feels
Yes.
crazy now though." But yeah,
No.
it's really neat to watch them be empowered and utilize it for their own personalities. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a lifelong
I
lesson.
will say my husband thinks they tell me too often and too much how they feel. He's like, they need to focus less on how they feel. Welcome to a girl house.
I mean, I was going to say it's complete opposite with my boys. Like, we're not going to talk about how we feel. I mean, they will. It has to be the right environment, though. So.
Yes, for sure.
Well, you have a new book coming out called The Feel Good Way. I love this so much. Tell our audience a little more about what your book is about and what they could expect when they pick it up.
It has 90 recipes, macro balance, beautifully aesthetic, obviously, but the most important thing to me is that these meals are obviously super nourishing, super macro balanced, but they are super satisfying. So, my approach to nutrition, I grew up in the Midwest. You said you're in Indiana. I grew up in Ohio, and I went to college in Oklahoma, and I lived in California for 13 years. Now we're in Tennessee. So, like, I understand all the regional flares of food.
Yeah.
And so I try to bring those into healthy eating rather than saying like, here's your chicken and rice and broccoli. It's like, here's your gumbo that you grew up with, that you love, but instead we use coconut cream and we use, more nutrient dense foods. So we recreate the people's favorites. In fact, we have a grilled cheese on the cover to entice people. Like your grilled cheese can have 5 colors in it. You can add vegetables to anything. We can add protein to anything. We kind of like protein center our meals, but all three macros are the most important. So obviously 90 recipes. I think 5 or 6 of those are beverages. So like a matcha, a golden latte, hot chocolate, that kind of stuff that people are always wondering about how to make at home. Um, but before each section of meals, so we have breakfast, lunch, snack, dinner, dessert. I did a prayer. So I prayed over my readers. I taught them how to pray before meals because I think a lot of times we just assume that people know things. And
Sure.
so I take people from like morning to night and how the day should look and feel, and then pray over those times of the day. So
Hmm.
instead of like just praying when you go to bed at night, like how do you incorporate that throughout the day to support the spirit, which is the most powerful part of the being?
Yeah.
So I was able to include that. I have my whole food philosophy in there. I don't even know how we fit all these things in there. But we did a little bit of my like background, my story, but mostly just it's mostly for the readers. I have 3 amazing testimonies of regular people because my past 2 books are with celebrities.
Mhm.
And so I think, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but sometimes reading these perspectives from a celebrity feel a little bit like unreachable or unrealistic
Sure.
or
Yeah.
like,
Sure.
um, out of reach.
Yeah.
And so I want this to feel like super in reach and super tangible. Like I can't wait to see people wear out the pages of it
Ah,
because
yeah.
they're going to love the recipes. They're going to love the prayer. They're just going to love the feel of that hope, that hopefulness of like, I can see myself doing this a year from now. I can see myself doing this forever. This is actually a pretty sustainable approach.
What a beautiful habit to tie to your mealtime. Like, we pray before our meals too, but sometimes like it's a very generic prayer over the years,
Mhm.
especially with the boys. Like, thank you for food, thank you for
Yeah.
sunshine today, thank you for golf and running, and
Yeah.
just basic stuff. But what a great like habit stack. And like you said, to really kind of regulate your nervous system as well
Mhm.
before you sit down. That way you're able to rest and digest and enjoy your meal and
Mhm.
let your body do what it's supposed to do. But it's
Yeah.
that mind, body, spirit connection again. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. I was very fortunate that I got placed with Penguin Random House this time because I worked with HarperCollins last time
Mhm.
and they placed me with a Christian imprint. So I just really got to be like fully who I
Yeah.
am and what I teach
Yeah.
and for the people. Like I made them not put my picture on the cover because this isn't about me. This is
Yeah.
about my purpose and what I call my kingdom assignment. And
Ah,
it's for you, it's for them. It's,
I love that so much.
hopefulness.
Well, what is one of your favorite recipes that's maybe on a weekly rotation at your house?
Yeah, and I don't know if this one's actually in the book. I need to double check, but lately, lots of the weekly rotations are in there. But
Sure.
um, a shredded chicken baked taco. I think every week we do like some sort of Taco Tuesday.
Same.
And
Same.
it varies, but now everybody's obsessed with the one that requires the most work, of course. It's shredding chicken and then baking it and but they love like the taste and the crunch of it. So that one's actually for sure in my member portal. So
Okay.
we have an online, it's kind of like an app, but it's built into the PC and
Okay.
views like an app in the phone. But we have 2,500 recipes on there.
Okay.
Macro balance, like everything the family loves.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, Taco Tuesday is always in rotation at our
For
house
sure.
in some form, sometimes 2 days a week.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We take the leftover advantage.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, Kara, this has been such a great conversation. And just thank you so much for sharing your heart and the way you're serving others through your book and serving your clients and sharing your story with us. Where can everyone connect with you and find out more and
Yeah.
read your book?
Yeah. So the book Feel Good Way is available wherever you buy books. Amazon, Walmart, Target, Barnes and Noble, all the bookstores. But the pre-orders actually help dictate how many those stores pick up. So I always
Yeah.
recommend pre-ordering.
Yeah.
Um, And then caraclarknutrition.com has all of the information we talked about, my philosophy, links to the book, my hormone classes that wasn't recorded, my membership info, and my seasonal challenges all live on the website. And then I would say I'm most active on Instagram.
Okay, great. We'll make sure to link all of that in the show notes so everyone can grab the book, connect with you, and maybe grab some fun recipes in the meantime as well. Oh my goodness. Kara, thank you so much. It was such a pleasure talking with you, and I know you're going to make an impact on our audience. So thanks again.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for this great conversation, Kara. Gang, make sure you go grab her new book. I just pre ordered it. And remember, it's out on May 13th, and you're going to love it. So, as always, let's chat about my three biggest takeaways from this conversation with our new friend, Cara Clark. It was hard to narrow it down to three, but here's what I came up with. And if this is your first time listening to Habit Hack Your Health, I do this at the end of every guest interview because I know you're listening a little bit maybe in the shower, doing dishes, carpool, and sometimes we get a little distracted. So here's the cliff notes for you, if you will. So I think the really important thing that Kara mentioned right from the get-go is assess how you feel, right? You want to feel energetic. You want to feel confident. You want to feel great, patient, present, all of these amazing words, right? And if you're not feeling a lot of those things, I think we need to dig a little deeper into thinking about what season of life am I in? Am I not moving my body? And I know that helps my mental health. What am I fueling my body with? If it's a seasonal time where it's really busy with kids' sports, I've mentioned all the time on here how spring is so busy for our family with between track and golf and just Maycember, right? Like it's called, all the things happening at the end of the year. So maybe you're not being as intentional with the meals you're eating and hitting that Chick-fil-A drive-through, which nothing wrong with that, but all in balance and moderation, right? And assessing how maybe some of these habits are affecting your mental and your physical and even your spiritual health this time of year. I feel like sometimes when we're really busy, that's when our mind sometimes becomes a little overactive and we need to drive it back down through sometimes our healthy habits, right? Movement, nutrition, and so forth. And you got to understand, maybe this season of life that you're in, when you hit midlife, your kids are becoming older, they're middle school, high school, they're teenagers. That comes with a whole different level of emotional stress. And I tell my sons all the time, like, look, dudes, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not always going to get it right. And I know we put a lot of pressure on ourselves as moms, and you have worked so hard and you have maybe a really even more demanding job than you did 10 years ago. Maybe you're managing a team, and that comes with a lot of stressors as well. So I want you to take a moment and just assess how you feel. A great habit, one of our friends shared this on our episode before, is anytime as a habit trigger for you is anytime you walk through a doorway, do a little body assessment, right? Are you feeling tense everywhere? Are you holding tension in your shoulders? Are you clenching your jaw? Everything. Relax, shake it out, and see if you can work some of those nerves out and reevaluate the habits that are going to support you in this particular season. It doesn't have to be game changing like all the things. It can be one tiny habit to help you. Next, we can't even digest our food because we're super stressed. I think this was such an important point that Cara brought up, right? We're connected to technology all day, right? Our minds have all those tabs open. We're just like a little stress ball, and our nervous systems are shot. So you're rushing through a meal, you're standing, not even sitting at a counter, or maybe you're just eating whatever is in the break room at work because you didn't have time to even pack your lunch today, right? Cara made a really good point of resetting your parasympathetic nervous system before eating. I love how she mentions this, and she mentions this in her book as well, to sit down and do a little prayer. Help your nervous system before you eat. Calm down. She mentioned humming. Tapping's another great one. And just really relaxing, breathing, prayer, humming, whatever works for you. That way your body is able to rest and digest. You're able to actually digest your food instead of it sitting like a rock in your belly, right? Sit down, eat slowly, really think about your food hygiene. I think that's a really great habit a lot of us can employ this week, no matter what season in your life, that is going to be a game changer. I know I've been doing this since I chatted last with Cara. And then finally, food is where it starts, right? There's all these great people out there sharing all of these great habits and tools and biohacking this and that, which I think is great. I'm all about experimenting and biohacking my health, but none of it will make a difference. Even if you're following along in my workout app, I tell everyone, if your nutrition is not where it's at, you can work out to your heart's content. You're probably not going to get the results you desire unless you are focused on your nutrition. And I'm not talking about dieting. I'm talking about fueling your body to give you energy to feel your best, right? So again, go to the link in the show notes. You can pre-order Cara Clark's book. I'm so excited to get it as well. Remember, it's the Feel Good Way. You're going to love it. And as we wrap up this episode, I was really thinking about a devotional I just finished. I use the Daily Grace Co. I use a year-long devotional with them, and it bebops back and forth between the Old Testament and the New Testament. And I just finished reading a couple of verses in Matthew when Jesus is doing like the Sermon on the Mount. And in essence, one of the verses it was right after I talked to Cara, and I like it how God like plants these little seeds for you sometimes, right? But in essence, Jesus is pretty much saying he advises against like excessive worry about material needs like food, what you're drinking, your clothing, and empathizing that life is more valuable than these basic provisions, right? He's instead encouraging a focus on trusting God's provision and seeking his kingdom rather than dwelling on anxieties about daily necessities. And I think a lot of times we have a lot of anxiety about food, and it can be emotional. It can be, a driver to you feeling maybe a little hangry, or maybe it can be really stressful and emotional sometimes. But when you get back to the basics and focus on a holistic approach to your food and nutrition like Cara has shared today, I think you'll find it can become a lot more fun and just a habit and a lifestyle in your life in order to support your body, your mind, and spirit. So try that listening prayer maybe to start your day, like Cara mentioned in this episode. See what God's putting on your heart, even about nutrition. Yeah, you can even pray to him about that, girl, to help you find some peace at the same time and let go of that diet culture mentality. Stop dieting, start training for life, and nutrition is what is going to really get that ball rolling for you. So Again, go to the link in the show notes if you'd love to connect with Cara. I know you would, and love to get her book as well. Thank you so much again, Cara, for this wonderful conversation. And friends, I will catch you in the next episode. As always, I am rooting for you. I am so proud of you for listening to another episode of Habit Hack Your Health. I don't want you to just feel inspired, but I want you to go take action. To help you do that, go grab a free 7-day trial inside of the Training for Life app. This is habit-based fitness programming that you won't find anywhere else. A full fitness library with workouts programmed around what we need as midlife moms, and habit trainings and accountability community to help you stay consistent no matter what season of life that you're in. Go to trainingforlifeapp.com to start your free 7-day trial, and let's start training for life together. I'm so rooting for you, girl. I'll see you in the next episode.